Yeah. Right back nation, what is good? Yeah, man. Check it out. We are 2 weeks away from the 76ers' first regular season game against the Boston Celtics. And speaking of the Boston Celtics, I saw a clip of Jaylen Brown trying to run the Celtics offense that popped up on Twitter last night. And Jaylen Brown is as bad as I thought he was at creating offense, and the Celtics aren't going to be great this season. So maybe the 76ers can start the season with a dub. We'll see. We'll see. But that is about 2 weeks away. Anyway, we got some things to talk about on this show leading up to that. Some things came out yesterday about, the health of Joel Embiid, the typical. We got some information on Joel Embiid and whether he looks like he's going to play game one or not. So we're going to talk about that. We'll see, as Alex Perry says. Maybe we should make we'll see merch. We'll see. There is some information on Joel Embiid at practice. There's an update on Paul George. Quentin Grimes has returned after the summer-long contract standoff. And Quentin Grimes spoke to the media, so we're going to listen to that. Nick Nurse also spoke to the media. He made some comments about the 76ers rotation. And he made a specific comment about Tyrese Maxey that I think is interesting that I want to give my opinion on. Also, before we get into that, listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We are over there. Our podcast numbers are growing rapidly. If you're watching live on YouTube, hit the like button right now, please. That would be greatly appreciated. That is how us content creators survive. You get this free content whenever we post it. All I ask is that you hit that little thumbs up. That would be greatly appreciated. And let me tell you about who makes this show possible before we get into everything. And that is our friends at Bright Medical Technology of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Bright Medical is your trusted provider of durable medical supplies. But what you might not know is they are also a full-service pharmacy. Fellas, let's call it what it is. The Sixers had some, we'll say, dysfunction last season that prevented them from performing up to standard. You might also be having some issues that are preventing you from performing up to standard. And if you are, Bright Medical has you covered. They have the most affordable generic ED meds in the area and can ship to your door at no cost in 1 to 2 business days. No awkward doctor visit, no uncomfortable conversations, just solutions to get you back on your game. Right now, you can get 10% off your first 30-day supply by mentioning Run It Back Philly when you call. Call 215-725-MEDS and mention Run It Back Philly for 10% off your first 30-day supply. That's 215-725-MEDS. The Sixers might underperform again this year, but you don't have to, thanks to Bright Medical Technology. And thank you to Bright Medical for sponsoring the post-game live shows all season long this season. Somebody said Joel doesn't have that issue. Joel Embiid doesn't have that issue. He keeps having children. Bryce Harper doesn't seem to have that issue either. But for those that do, Bright Medical's got you covered. Now let's get into the business. We got to get this out of the way, guys. I'm going to say it just this one time, and then I promise I'm not going to say it again for the rest of the season. I'm going to say it just this one time, all right? And a lot of people aren't going to want to hear this. Ace Bailey had his first preseason game yesterday, and he dropped 25 for the Utah Jazz. But he looked confident. His jumper looked buttery smooth. And I'm just going to say this, man. Daryl Morey has had a lot of swings and misses as the 76ers GM. Passing on Ace Bailey is going to be Daryl Morey's biggest blunder of his career. It's just my opinion. It's just flat out going to be. A 6'9" player with a handle and a buttery smooth jump shot is insanely rare. And Ace Bailey's agent told Daryl Morey not to draft him. Daryl Morey tucked his tail and ran and hid. Danny Ainge, on the other hand, called his bluff, drafted him anyway. Now he fired his agent, so none of that even mattered. And he looks like an absolute stud. And I like VJ Edgecombe a lot. And I think VJ Edgecombe, I don't have a crystal ball. VJ Edgecombe could very well develop into an NBA superstar also. He has an athletic ability that is super rare. I will say that about VJ. He jumps higher than any 76ers player I've ever seen. That includes Andre Iguodala. Go back to the first missed dunk of the first preseason game. VJ Edgecombe, his head's above the rim. He's about 5 feet away from the basket. He's going to have some of the most iconic posters in 76ers history this season. So I'm not saying I don't like VJ Edgecombe. I think I've been consistently saying I think his offensive game, as far as his scoring ability, his creation on the ball, creating shots, looking comfortable, and things like that are going to take some time. Whereas it just feels like Ace Bailey is a potential superstar to me, and I think I think the next couple of years you're going to see Ace Bailey and you're going to say, wow, he should have been in a 76ers uniform. That's all. Slander me in the chat for that if you want to. Where did my chat go? VJ ceiling is a high level role player. I don't know. I'm not going to put a ceiling on him, man. I really think. I don't think you can call that. I really don't. I think his game can develop, and we can't predict the future. Everything you're saying about Ace is true. Dude, leading up to the draft, I couldn't believe the 76ers were about to pass on Ace Bailey. I thought it was a no-brainer. I couldn't believe it. I started to hear the rumors. I was like, dude, I think they're actually going to take VJ Edgecombe, and they did. But I think we're in good hands either way. I just do think over the first couple of years, you're going to see Ace Bailey and say, wow, he should have been in a Sixers uniform. But that's not saying that Ace Bailey can't become something and could very well have been the correct pick. But there's just something about Ace Bailey. 6'9", buttery jump shot. He just looks like Tracy McGrady to me, man. He looks like I don't know, man. And I just have a bad feeling that we're going to regret that one. But it is what it is. It is what... It's okay to have terrible takes now. It is what it is. We're going to move on. But damn it, I saw Ace Bailey's preseason game last night, and I said, just what I thought. Pretty much exactly what I thought. Can't live in the past, though. Let's move forward. The updates we got yesterday are... Why is my head cut off? The updates we got yesterday. The first one was Joel Embiid. And this is from Kyle Neubeck. Because, there's a section of the fan base that expects Joel Embiid to not play almost ever again. I'm one of those. I've been one of those people. Because what reason do I have to believe? This team has stabbed me in the back time after time. But what reason do I have to believe? This is an abusive ex that's like, trust me, I've changed. I'm not going to slash your tires and stalk you at work. And after the fifth time, it's like, what reason do I have to believe you? You know? If you prove me wrong, that's great. If the Sixers prove me wrong, that's great. Joel Embiid playing game 1 of the season sounds insane to me, given everything last season, this off season. It sounds crazy to me. But we did get some information that could make you start to believe that. Joel Embiid practiced today and has continued to increase activity. That includes 5v5. It's sad that we're celebrating this, but Joel Embiid hasn't practiced 5v5 since when? So at least according to this rumor, Joel Embiid seems a lot more ready than he even was last offseason when they sold us the whole ramping up bullshit and lied to us. He's practiced 5v5. I still don't expect him to start game 1. I don't expect him to probably play in October at all. I don't even know about November. But he practiced 5v5. That's the update. Now, the Sixers said this. Still needs to check more boxes before he's game available, I think Kyle was trying to say. Joel Embiid the Sixers still need to check more boxes. So, in true, business sales fashion, much like a video game that you sell every year that's everybody knows is the same game, but you got to repackage it, NBA 2K or Madden. What are we going to say this year, Super realistic QB vision, something or other. It's the same game. Knock it off. You know what I mean? The Sixers, in the same way you sell the same video game every year and just repackage it and come up with a new slogan. Basically, that's what it seems like they're doing with Joel Embiid's update status. Last year, it was ramping up. That was the way that they packaged it and sold it. That was the slogan last year. Ramping up to ramp up. He's ramping up to ramp up his pregame ramp up, his preseason ramp up. This year, it's checking boxes. Checking boxes. That's what we're doing. So we're going to get, halfway through December, and they're going to be like, he looks great. Joel Embiid looks great. He practiced 5 versus 5. He's scoring in one-on-one situations. He's running, and both of his knees are fine. He's not in any pain. There's no swelling. And people are like, okay, so why is he not on the court yet? Well, we need to check some more boxes. That's what they're going with this year. That is the new slogan that Josh Harris and the team have come up with as the selling Joel Embiid to the fans this season. Last year it was ramping up. This season it's checking boxes. What are the boxes that need to be checked? We don't know. But if he's practicing 5v5, this is the thing with the Sixers, man. They're always so goddamn vague, bro. I didn't think I was going to get... Okay. Deep breath. We're making a podcast. We're trying to be professional. But it's stuff like this. And Kyle Neubeck, he does the PHLY podcast, but he is a 76ers beat writer and reporter. So he's there in the meetings, in the press conferences, listening. And this is straight from the team. My problem with the 76ers is that they're always this vague. Couldn't you just say, Joel Embiid did this, and he did it well. We're not sure if he can do this yet. We have to make sure there's no swelling in the knee after a certain amount of workouts. We have to make... why can't they be specific? Why can't they tell us just exactly what it is? We got to check more boxes. We're not going to... Of course we're not going to tell you what the boxes are, you peasant fan. Just buy the fucking ticket and the jersey. Shut your mouth. Give me all your money. Josh Harris says. Anyway, They need to check more boxes. But I do think, on a serious note, I think this is a good sign. I think Joel Embiid practicing 5v5 already is a very good sign. And if he's ready to go game one, I'm going to pass out and die. That's what's going to happen. Because it's, you might as well go on whatever betting app you use. I was going to mention one, but none of them sponsor me right now, so I'm not going to give you the free press. The free advertisement, but go on whatever betting app you use right now. And if you believe Joel Embiid is going to play game one, you might as well put a 10 grand on it. Well, don't do that, bro. Put $10 on it. Put $10 on it. Paul George is still doing on-court workouts, working toward getting integrated in team workouts in the coming days. So Paul George told us at Media Day that he has been doing stationary workouts and 1 to 2 dribble moves. It looks like that's still a thing. He's doing individual workouts. Paul George is not ready to go. Not even close. The crazy thing is, Joel Embiid might be more ready to go than Paul George. And I remember when the Paul George injury happened a couple of months ago during a workout, and he had knee surgery. And people are like, it's no big deal. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal. I don't know why you guys fall hook, line, and sinker all the time to this type of stuff. But one day you're going to wake up and be a realist like me. Paul George is hurt. That's a max contract guy who can't seem to get on the floor for the 76ers basically at all, ever. So we'll see. We'll see. That is the slogan for this upcoming season. We'll see. But there's the Joel Embiid and Paul George updates. Quentin Grimes has returned. I love the Sixers, but I'm sick of Joel Embiid's status the last few years. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Listen, man. John, shout out to you, John. Exactly. And I love Joel Embiid, and I've loved his whole career. And I've supported him his whole career. But there's a time where you're just tired of seeing it. There's a time where you're just tired of every season. Is Joel Embiid going to be healthy? Going to be healthy? And you're just ready for the next era, dude. Like, there's a time where enough is enough. And the thing is, on Twitter, which is, a website full of angry cellar dwellers who don't have any friends, including me. I'm actually an attic dweller. This is my attic. But the thing is, when I say something on Twitter or Instagram or social media, and I say I'm over the Joel Embiid era, I don't care anymore, I'm ready to move on, I'm tired of seeing the same thing every year, they make me sound like I don't have any sympathy for anything in the world. And, how could you say this about a guy that did this or this or this? It's tiring, bro. I can say thank you for everything you've done for the 76ers, and I hope you prove me wrong, but my honest opinion is I'm tired of it. I'm tired of every season being this. It is what it is. Get off my cord! What the... Psst. Are you shitting me right now? Oh my fucking God. My cat just ruined the show. Go away! And don't come back until I'm done. Damn it. Dude, my cat just got wrapped up in like 6 different headphone cords, freaked out, almost pulled the whole mixer off the desk. What the hell, man? All right. Let's get back to business. Cats don't have... Dude, you ever have... Cats don't have any patience. Something bad happens, they just absolutely go berserk immediately. A cat can't stand there and be like, okay, untangle me from the cords and everything's fine. No, I just lost his mind. All right, listen. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes returned after contract standoff all summer long. And here's what he said. Let's just listen to it because this is a 36-second clip. I don't think I've listened to it really yet. Let's just hear what he said. Hold on. Producer, you're fired. You're fired. Get a new job. You're never ready.
Now you said you realize in business, so there's no hard feelings or anything like that with the way the negotiations went?
I mean, no, not at all. I mean, I'm here to play basketball, you know what I mean? Without control, I try to control that. How hard I go in the gym, preparation-wise, working on my body, and I leave that up to my agent in the front office, you know what I mean? Hopefully I get to be back here and sign a longer-term deal. I want to be back here in a longer-term deal, but, you know what I mean, I'm happy to be here right now. I'm going to do whatever I can to help the team win.
That's interesting, actually. I mean, of course, like, Keith Pompey, that was Keith Pompey, by the way, and Keith Pompey asked him, is there any hard feelings? I mean, it's not like he's going to come out and be like, yeah, fuck this team, bro. They were supposed to give me my money, and they shortchanged the shit out of me, bro. Fuck this team. No, he's not going to say that. He's gonna keep it professional, and he did that. But it is interesting that he said, I wanted to be back here on a longer team deal, you know? I didn't expect him to say that. I was saying all offseason that I thought he was making it pretty obvious that he doesn't want to be here at all. And I thought he was going to sign the qualifying offer so that he can become an unrestricted free agent next season because he doesn't want to be here. I thought he didn't want to sign a long-term deal because of the competition at kind of the same position that he plays, Maxey, McCain, and then they've drafted VJ Edgecombe. But I guess it's nice to hear that he wanted to be back here on a long-term deal and that, maybe this season the 76ers get that done. Hopefully I get to be back here and sign a longer-term deal, he said. But I mean, you got to be realistic, Quentin, right? The 76ers didn't have $25 million to give you. You know that. You're not an idiot. You know how the salary cap works. You and your agent said you want $25 million a year. They were like, we can't give you that. And they offered somewhere around 17, I think. And they turned it down. So we'll see what happens. But let's listen to the second part of this.
Not at all. I mean, I'm here to play basketball, you know what I mean? Without control, I try to control that. How hard I go in the gym, preparation-wise, working on my body, and I leave that up to my agent in the front office, you know what I mean? Hopefully I get to be back here and sign a longer-term deal. I want to be back here in a longer-term deal, but, you know what I mean? I'm happy to be here right now. I'm going to do whatever I can to help the team win. On this point. It definitely is in the past, you know what I mean? It's a business, I know that, but I'm here to come here and play for the city of Philly, play for my teammates, play for Coach Nurse, and to go out there and do whatever I can to help this team win for sure.
That's good to hear from Quentin Grimes, man. The Sixers have a preseason game tomorrow night. And, Nick Nurse said Quentin Grimes looks good. He said he looks like he's been working out. He looks like he's in just as good a shape as he was, last season. So it doesn't seem like he missed a step. So I don't see any reason for Quentin Grimes to not play in the preseason game tomorrow night. I think he should. We'll see. That is the new slogan for this upcoming season. We'll see. But yeah, I hope he does. And we all know what Quentin Grimes brings to the game. I think there's a lot to figure out. I think there's a lot for Nick Nurse to figure out when it comes to playing Quentin Grimes and Tyrese Maxey and McCain's injured again, but VJ Edgecombe and guys like that. But yeah. As a Knicks fan, I'm glad you guys passed up on Ace Bailey. Well, as a Sixers fan, I'm glad you guys passed up on Giannis Antetokounmpo. You guys hear that rumor? That the Knicks were the only place Giannis wanted to be traded to this offseason, and the Knicks didn't make a good enough offer. That's what came out. Anyway, speaking of lineups and VJ Edgecombe, Nick Nurse had some things to say, and I think some of them are very interesting. Here's what he said.
What have I seen so far? I mean, I've seen that Tyrese and VJ look very good and very comfortable out there doing kind of both things. And we were hoping that was the case, but it looked to me like even well advanced, so that's going to be just fine, right? Either one of them can play point, either one of them can come off the ball. Both of them can be out there on their own at the point. They can take turns if they're out there together. And I think it plays to their strengths. I mean, I think Tyrese, we showed last year, he showed that he can, he needs to be off the ball some because of that speed into his shooting and turning the corners and things happens with him not having the ball some. That's that side of it, filter in Grimes, filter in Kelly, wait for Jared to return.
So Nick Nurse, he likes what he sees from Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. This still makes me think that the 76ers need a real point guard. I feel like I've been saying it for 2 years now. And I love Tyrese Maxey off the ball in like an Allen Iverson role, but the 76ers don't have an Eric Snow. They don't. I don't know what I've seen from VJ Edgecombe in just a couple of preseason games, but I don't think it showed me that he's an NBA point guard. Maybe he is. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Whatever Nick Nurse has seen, at least, is leading him to believe that VJ Edgecombe can play some point guard. But I just think that, look, if you're going into this season and we're supposed to believe that you guys are a contender, because that's what you're still selling us. Let's not all forget. I know they keep doing this we have a great young core and we're excited for the future and blah, blah, blah. But you know damn well you guys are still trying to sell us that you're a championship contender. And if that's what you're trying to sell us, right, if Joel Embiid's healthy, if Paul George is healthy, if healthy, you're a championship contender, you're trying to sell me that you're going to win with a rookie at point guard who's not even a point guard? If you thought Tyrese Maxey should play more off ball, which I agree he should, one of your main goals this offseason should have been to get a starting point guard. Kyle Lowry is a true point guard. In the chat, shout out to the chat. Kyle Lowry is... That's what we're going to end up with. You know what? You just made me think of something. Shout out to... I'm not going to read your name on the show because your name is crazy. But shout out to you. This might be Nick Nurse's way of playing Kyle Lowry. He said, listen, Kyle, they don't want you to play. They don't want you to play. But if I make it clear, if I go out there and make it clear that the 76ers need a veteran point guard on the floor, you're the only one. Then you have to play. Then there you go, Kyle. You get your shot. You get to be the 40-year-old point guard playing for your hometown, and I got you. And now I'm going to put VJ Edgecombe in a situation try to make him play point guard his first year in the NBA, and that way they can say, oh, we need somebody with some experience. Boom, I got you, Kyle Lowry. Yeah, that's a conspiracy that I just thought of, and I think it might be true. Nah, but seriously, look, I think Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe both have on-ball abilities. I wouldn't say facilitating point guard, like orchestrate an offense, organize an offense type of abilities. I didn't see it from Tyrese Maxey last season. I haven't seen it in the preseason. He's a scorer. He's a bucket getter. And I'm seeing kind of the same thing from VJ Edgecombe. Nothing he's done yet has really showed me that he can be that either. Why would I expect somebody who's never even started at point guard at any level of basketball is going to come in and play point guard in the NBA? So you have two combo guards, two guys who can play on ball, but should probably be off ball, and you're going to have them on the floor at the same time now. And then, another reporter said that Nick Nurse is considering a three-guard lineup of, did I say this here? Yeah. Keith Pompey, Sixers coach Nick Nurse said he's considering starting a three-guard lineup of Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, and Quentin Grimes. And I like that because I think, Tyrese Maxey is undersized, but VJ Edgecombe, I think, is going to be a really good defender in the NBA, and he's 6'5". Quentin Grimes is already a really good defender in the NBA at 6'5". So this isn't an undersized lineup like people think it is. I think you have you have a really good defender in Quentin Grimes and who should be a really good defender in VJ Edgecombe. on the floor with Tyrese Maxey, so I don't hate it defensively. But offensively, you got 3 combo guards and no facilitator. You got, 3 running backs and no quarterback, So we'll see. We'll see. But that's interesting to me. I just feel like they're all 3 combo scoring guards, and your offense is going to need an organizer. Your offense is going to need a setup man. And I feel like it's going to be Kyle Lowry. I feel like it's going to be Kyle Lowry. Oh, or it's going to be point forward Paul George. Don't forget point forward Paul George. But yeah, that's what Nick Nurse said. And so we'll see what happens. The Sixers' second preseason game is tomorrow. Hopefully, Quentin Grimes plays in that game so we can kind of see what it looks like with Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, and Quentin Grimes on the floor all at the same time. Hopefully that happens. So tune in tomorrow. We will do a live game watch along right here like we always do. And we'll do the post-game live show right here where you can call me on the Discord just like we always do. Yeah, I don't have anything else, man. You guys got anything in the chat you want me to respond to? You got any hot takes? You want to call me on the Discord and say something, man? The link's in the chat. Call me on the Discord if you want to talk to me for a few minutes or something. You got something to say. Did you see the preview for the Iverson documentary? There was an Iverson documentary back in the day that was on DVD. Oh, that's aging me. You guys don't even know what DVDs are, do you? But there's a new Iverson documentary coming out. I think I saw an advertisement for that. Maybe I'll watch that. And shout out to Allen Iverson. I did see that Allen Iverson announced that he quit drinking and he's been sober for 6 months. And I remember I had a little bit of a harsh take on Allen Iverson when people were saying that he should work for the Sixers or he should be an assistant coach or whatever. My take was Allen Iverson can't be a coach. He's drunk all the time. And that was harsh, but it was true. The last time we saw Allen Iverson, he was in the stands. They tried to interview him about Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and he could hardly talk. He was so hammered, So that's all I was saying. I felt like Allen Iverson retired, and he drinks every day, and and there's a reason he's not in the Sixers front office. But so shout out to Allen Iverson for announcing that he's been sober for 6 months. And maybe Allen Iverson will end up in the 76ers front office somewhere, or at least a player's coach, at least a practice coach. At least he can give guys some pointers on, how to break somebody down offensively. Although Allen Iverson had some of the quickest first step speed, probably the quickest first step speed with the ball in his hands I've ever seen in the NBA. So there's some things you can't teach, but we'll see. Ace Bailey will be better than T-Mac. That's a hot take. That is a hot take. I don't know if we can say that. But we'll see. Do you think Jared McCain can become a true point guard? Absolutely. I think yeah, I do. What's up, Nick? People's take on Jared McCain kind of baffles me. I saw more point guard tendencies from Jared McCain than I've seen from anybody else on the team. He looks naturally like a point guard to me. I think people get blinded by the fact that he's such a good scorer and such a good shooter, and they're like, no, he's a scorer. He's a score first guy. But he really plays like a point guard when you watch him because he's insanely smart. He has a crazy basketball IQ. The way he gets around a screen, the way he runs a pick and roll, the way he gets to a mid-range spot, the way he feels out the defense and the patience that he plays with, the change of speed that he plays with, his vision, he can hit the roll man, he can hit the skip pass. Jared McCain, to me, is a point guard. He's just a very good scoring point guard. And do people think Steph Curry's not a point guard just because he's the best shooter of all time and can drop 50? Or 60 or whatever here and there or whenever he wants or whenever he wanted. I don't know if he still can, but I think Jared McCain is a point guard who's also really good at scoring. So, it would be nice if he didn't tear his thumb and we would get to see him the beginning of this season. And Hopefully he gets back sooner than later. But if Nick Nurse wants to start Tyrese, VJ, and Grimes, me personally, when Jared McCain comes back, I'm starting McCain, Maxey, and Grimes and bringing VJ off the bench. I think that's what I'm doing. But Nick Nurse isn't going to do that anyway. It took him 2 seasons to find out that Tyrese Maxey's better off ball. This is the first time I've heard him admit that. When Jared McCain was getting buckets last season, Nick Nurse refused to play him at point guard, and he was bringing him off the bench at shooting guard next to Kyle Lowry for some reason. So I don't even think Nick Nurse thinks about Jared McCain as a point guard. We'll see, but I think when Jared McCain comes back in a perfect world, I would just start him at point guard, but I don't think Nick Nurse is going to do that anyway. We flopped not taking Bailey. I think we did, bro. Especially because you needed wing. Dude, the Sixers haven't had a wing since Andre Iguodala. Ace Bailey would have fit so perfectly with Maxey, McCain, Grimes, but it is what it is. And I like VJ, and I think VJ's game is going to take a couple years to develop. But VJ Edgecombe is going to have some poster dunks this season. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, that's all I got, man. Preseason game tomorrow. Come through, hang out. We'll watch it together. We'll do the post game live and all that. Thanks for tuning in.